Hey, okay, now I'm going to talk about extensions and how to maintain them properly and what to do when they're a tangled mess. So basically, a lot of people will send these back once they get tangling. They think this is it. You know, there's nothing else we can do with these. But that's not the case at all. Hair extensions are made from, most of them anyways, are made from natural human hair. That human hair gets put through a sanitization process, and then it gets put through a color process. So the sanitization is to bleach off all of anything that might pass on between humans. And the bleaching process after that comes for the color, and it's coming from Indian hair, so it's dark black and really curly. So in order to get them straight and lighter colors, they have to bleach the crap out of them. What that means basically is that we have essentially destroyed the cortex of this hair in that process. And so what's holding the hair extension together is the silicone coating on the outside, and this goes for all of them. So really, when you want to repair these things, if you're going to use a protein treatment, you have the two different types of protein treatments. A protein treatment generally will affect the cortex of the hair, and a moisture protein treatment will affect just the external proteins in the hair. And since we've destroyed the cortex in this hair already, there's no point in fixing all the proteins inside of it, because there's really not much you can do. You're not going to penetrate through the silicone on the outside without ruining it and then thus affecting the hair extension itself. But by using a moisture protein, you're going to fix the proteins that are on the cuticle of the hair, and that's really where all the strength comes in, because then we have the silicone over top of it. So, a heat protection spray. Now these things are sold everywhere. Every brand will have one. Generally speaking, they're all just silicone, the idea being you spray this into your hair and that will protect your hair from the heat. The silicone will absorb it all. When we're using it with a hair extension, we are using this silicone to repair the silicone on this. So these have been curled, these have been worn for, who knows, I think close to a year or more. And I'm using the clip-ins right now just because it's a lot easier to show this process, but it works with all hair extensions. So here I have the micro beads, and I'll show that on as well. But basically, we're just going to give these things a light little spritz. Just a little kiss, and we want them to absorb all of that silicone in there. And from here, we're just going to start lightly brushing out the hair. Now, I'm using the comb, and I'm not holding it very firmly, because I don't want to put any stress on that hair. I just kind of want to pull whatever hairs are going to start going, and then from there we can work. And you can use any kind of comb for this. Generally speaking, a detangling or a thicker tooth comb will work a lot better for you. However, you will always have these things out there, and we have our own. It's a detangler. These things are actually just the best. I mean, look at how simple that is. The bristles on the brush are not strong enough, so they won't never actually pull the hair. They'll just kind of flex back. But in that same breath, you can just go right into the hair and do it, knowing that they're going to bend if it's too strong of a knot or whatnot. And just so you know, for your own use at home or whatever, I generally will put a comb into a drawer and close the drawer just so that I have the teeth sticking out. That will allow me to put on the hair extensions. Since we're in my office, I don't have a drawer available at this height, so I've made one out of cardboard. I've just poked some holes through it, wound some twist ties to hold my comb in place. And that's just the best way to go about it. But really, when we're detangling these things, we don't want to put any extra stress on them. We don't want to use heat. We don't want to do any of that. We just want a natural comb out if we can. So, and this is one of the nicer things about hair extensions, is that even if you have a really ratty, really beat up and used hair extension, because we rely on the silicone on the outside of it, As long as you can repair that silicone before you start ripping through it, you won't actually end up affecting the hair. Oops. Excuse me. And so basically after this, I put on my heat protection spray, which we're not using for the protection, we're using for the silicone. And after this, I'm going to put a flat iron over these at a very low temperature. So I'm going to be using 320 degrees Fahrenheit, that's I think 160 Celsius. As you can see, these pink ones got pretty roughed up. But that's all for the better, because you're going to see how beautiful they are afterwards. There we go. So now we can run the comb all the way through, and they've dried. So another important thing about hair extensions is that the heat can affect the silicone coating on the outside, right? So we don't want to use a really high heat, and in the same breath we don't want to blow dry them with a blow dryer. It's so much better to let them air dry. So if a client brings these back, or if they're using your own, take them off, give them a good wash, and let them air dry overnight. It's so much more worth it. You're going to get so many more months or years out of the hair extension itself. So here I have my flat iron. I don't know if you can see that, but it's set to 320. And so I've put on my heat protection spray, which is going to go in and bond with any broken silicone bonds in the hair. And really, I'm just doing a nice, easy pass over the hair extension. And obviously we want to go a little slower at the ends, because we want to pull those ends really straight. And with hair extensions, the maintenance is so important, as with the consultation before you put them on the client. Making sure that they understand how to use them is night and day. You will get so much better use out of a hair extension if you know how to take care of it. Just a nice slow pass over that. And again, really important that you're using a low temperature. We do not want to burn these extensions. So there, now you can see what were ratty used hair extensions, now back filled with shine, filled with strength, brand new again. Same with my microbeads. You can see that shine in there. Back to 100%. So knowing this, and I find even showing this to a client, because a lot of them are very skeptical about this. They're going to say, yeah, you're a stylist, you have the tricks, you know what you're doing. You can really do this yourself at home and maintain these things so much better than you could have imagined. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.